This is Triss. No offense, but not great with your hands, are you?
This video has a special place in my heart because in a way, it has taken me 6 years to make. So during my many playthroughs, I've made saves at key locations, wrote down notes and recorded small bits of dialogue, all in an attempt to eventually find all the variations in our journey to find Ciri based on the order in which you do the main quests. Normally, the game is structured in such a way that you go through Velen, Novigrad and finally Skellige. But what if you start with Velen and then skip Novigrad, do Skellge instead and leave Dandelion for last? Or perhaps you're a big Team Yennefer supporter and you ditch everything in favor of Skellige and meeting her first. Well, I've tried all these permutations and I probably still haven't discovered everything because there is some insane level of small details here. For example, in Skellige, not only are there small changes in dialogue based on whether you've done only Novigrad or only Velen, or both or neither of these zones beforehand, but there are also changes based on how much you've progressed in each of them in case you started the main quest there, but moved on to Skellige before you finished it. So let's get started and hopefully I don't miss anything, because it's a bit of a mess on my end as well. Before we begin though, let me quickly plug my Details Missed playlist. It has a fair amount of Witcher videos you might wish to check out if you haven't yet done so. Alright, I already mentioned Skellige and Yennefer, so let's start from there. Normally, if you've already done Velen, you would have learned that Ciri left for Novigrad after staying with the Baron, and you would have also met Keira Metz, so Geralt will mention both of these things to Yennefer.
Somehow Ciri wound up at the castle of the local ruler, a baron, self-proclaimed. Also ran into an old friend of ours in Velen, Keira.
Then, because you would have normally done Novigrad as well, Geralt will also mention Dandelion and the curse that Ciri was involved in.
Been to Novigrad. Ciri was there, looking for a way to lift some curse. She's not there anymore.
You're certain?
Heard it from Dandelion, with no embellishments.
Now the first interesting part is that if you killed Keira Metz in Velen, and this only happens if you kill her yourself, not if you send her to Radovid, which also gets her killed. So if you killed her, Geralt will never mention her at all. Not in relation to Ciri or the mysterious elf, he will just not talk about any of it.
Witches?
Creatures more like. Can't say exactly what they are, but they're dangerous. Very. Also ran into an old friend of ours in Velen, Keira.
What on earth is Keira Metz doing in that wasteland?
These witches Ciri came across, she was lucky to escape them.
Witches?
Creatures more like. Can't say exactly what they are, but they're dangerous. Very. That's about all I've learned.
Luckily, Yennefer only seems to read his mind when it comes to sexual stuff. Although, you can kill Keira Metz after, you know.
Oh, Geralt. Shame you didn't talk that way when we
The second bit is if you have neither met Keira nor learned anything about Ciri's fate from the Baron, but you have at least gone through the underground cellar in Heatherton.
Strange glow observed in the sky.
In that case, Geralt will simply give Yennefer the bare bones of what must have happened in Velen.
Didn't learn much in Velen. Ciri wound up at the home of a local baron. She also quarreled with some witches. That's about all I've learned.
This is different from if you haven't even visited that cellar, since in that case, Geralt literally doesn't know anything and Yennefer is not too happy about it.
I'm not done searching in Velen yet.
Thought you'd tend to that immediately.
Change of plans. Actually, I don't have anything solid about Velen or Novigrad.
I was hoping you'd have learned something by the time you arrived. But since you haven't, we'll start our search in Skellige.
Okay, the next curious bit is, and this one is probably my favorite, if you have done everything in Velen, the whole main quest, you've learned what happened to Ciri and you met Uma, except you refused to escort the Bloody Baron in the very end of his quest.
Gotta prepare.
Prepare now? Will you shine your boots or trim your nails?
In that case, a small piece of dialogue will change all the way at the end of the story in Skellige. In this conversation here, Geralt and Yennefer are re-evaluating what they know about Ciri. And normally, Geralt will mention the Baron and say that he was then replaced by his second-in-command.
Key to finding Ciri is that ugly thing Skjal saw on the beach. That's what I think. You know, I saw something, or someone who looked just like that.
Where?
In Velen, at a castle until recently ruled by a self-proclaimed baron, now controlled by his right-hand man, Sergeant Ardle.
You must go and get the creature. I don't know, buy him, kidnap him.
But if you refused to join him against the crones and immediately came here to do the entire quest in Skellige instead, Geralt will not say the same things, despite the fact that the Baron leaves and never returns, because he never got to see the part where Ardle is in charge of Crow's Perch.
Key to finding Ciri is that ugly thing Skjal saw on the beach. That's what I think. You know, I saw something, or someone who looked just like that.
Where?
In Velen. Local ruler, a baron, keeps him at his castle. Told me he won him in a card game in Novigrad.
You must go and get the creature. I don't know, buy him, kidnap him.
I had such a... can I say nerdgasm on YouTube? I hope so. Here's the thing. They could have easily removed that line about Ardle and make it the same in both cases, since it doesn't really matter if Yennefer knows about him or not. I mean, knowing her, she most certainly doesn't care one bit.
I found a corpse. Not Craven's, though.
Uh-huh. And you thought I'd find this interesting because...
Because no bite marks on it. Doesn't seem strange to you?
Zerricanian cuisine, Dandelion's fame, and shoes with curly toes seem strange to me, yet I don't discuss them with you.
But they made sure to do it properly, and I love that. And speaking of things I love, moving on to the fourth or fifth interesting part, which is if you haven't yet seen Uma.
My oh my.
In that case, you will get an extra piece of dialogue with Jarl Donar in Larvik. In fact, Yennefer will encourage you to seek him out.
You must see Donar. Ask him to whom exactly he sold the thing.
Not coming with me?
You know, I'm better off not showing myself to him now.
And in addition to talking about Craven and all these other things, you will be able to ask him about Uma as well.
Apparently there was an ugly creature here. Showed up the day after Lofoten was destroyed.
Ah, true. Crawled up from the beach. Gob looked like eels had been nibbling at, and he walked like he had a barrel between his legs. A good deal of fun, that one.
You sold him, did I hear right?
Aye, I sold him. This merchant comes here from time to time, buys narwhal horns off us, uses them to make earrings and other such baubles for the wenches.
We were talking about the creature.
Ah, yes. This merchant, his eyes lit up soon as he saw the beast. Said a freak like that be the pride of any court. Proud of that, you merchant? Foreigners. I didn't want to sell him, but he offered a slew of coin.
Didn't know there was a slave trade in Skellige.
This weren't no human, Geralt. If you'd seen him, if you'd seen the mad things he does.
Tell me, what's he do?
Long bloody story. Suffice to say, my hound's wiser than he was, and my hound eats his own shite sometimes.
Where will I find this merchant and the creature?
Why'd you ask? Wanna buy him for yourself?
Looking to train a new witcher.
Ha, good one. The merchant. He asked about the route to Novigrad, if there was pirates, so I reckon that's where he sailed.
Just as likely that he stayed there as it is that he moved on. Either way, my chances of finding him are slim. Well, thanks anyway. Take care.
This here was the topic of my previous video where I discussed a conspiracy theory which speculates that the merchant who took Uma was in fact Gaunter O'Dimm. You can have a look at the video if you wish, I won't go too deep into it now. Okay, we go back to Yennefer smelling wonderful at this funeral, because, here's a detail you may have missed, there is a secret camera angle in this scene, where if you wait long enough without choosing any dialogue options, Geralt will look to the side to see Cerys sitting by the water. But enough about the ginger muffin, back to Skellige and Novigrad. As you may have guessed, it's not just whether you've done Novigrad before Skellige, but there's also a separate case if you've started investigating in the city, learned that Dandelion is involved, but then went to Yennefer before rescuing him and learning about the curse. I believe this can be triggered as soon as you finish the session with Corinne Tilly.
Ciri found Dandelion in Novigrad. They met up. Dandelion got them in trouble. Ciri made an enemy of Whoreson Jr., one of the city's crime bosses.
So Dandelion knows what happened to Ciri.
Yeah, gotta find him.
Alright, before I move away from Yennefer, let me show you what she says in the end of the garden quest, depending on which area you've done beforehand.
You must go and get the creature. I don't know, buy him, kidnap him.
Seems early to me. What would I do with him? Cart him around while I searched for Ciri and hunted monsters? He's safe where he is, with the Baron. At least I think so. I'll get him once I know why Ciri went to Novigrad, what she did there. Still a chance I might find her there.
All right, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Is there a chance that thing might be Ciri? Well, she's been transformed by some curse?
Don't even want to think about it.
Geralt, we must.
Might be. From what I know, she was looking to cure a powerful curse while in Novigrad.
You must see Donar. Ask him to whom exactly he sold the thing.
Didn't learn much, though we can be sure Ciri's not in Skellige anymore. She disappeared from Novigrad too. Checked that. Maybe she's in Velen, hiding somewhere.
Better to have some idea where to look than none. You must go and get the creature. I don't know, buy him, kidnap him.
The thing's clearly cursed. Its mind is a jumble. Can't have anything resembling a normal conversation with it.
Grumbling won't get us anywhere. All will be well. A curse, please. Nothing a sorceress and a witcher couldn't handle.
And here's the worst case, I suppose, where you literally have no idea about anything.
Didn't learn much, though we can be sure Ciri's not in Skellige anymore. Maybe she's in Velen, hiding somewhere. Or in Novigrad, world's largest city.
Better to have some idea where to look than none.
Makes me wonder what she's gotten herself into.
Can't even begin to imagine. But we will pull her out of it, safe and sound. That I promise you.
Alright, I think I'm done with Skellige, moving on to Novigrad. Now before I get to the changes, I would like to address something which does not change regardless of what you do. I myself have wondered about this, and so have a few of my viewers. It's about Geralt briefly seeing Ciri while doing Cerys' quest in Skellige, and whether or not that affects the part where Dudu transforms into her so that Geralt can see how she looks. The answer is, there are no changes, but it's actually for a good reason. When Geralt sees Ciri in Skellige, she's on a bed facing down, so all he sees is her back and her hair, no traces of her face at all. Besides, Ciri was 16 or 17 when Geralt last saw her, so he's right to think that he'll recognize her easily. She wasn't a small child or anything like that.
No need. I'll recognize Ciri when I see her, sure of it.
I just thought you might want to see.
Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to the changes. Possibly the most notable one is about Triss and Yennefer's necromancy. If you've done the garden quest where Yen raises Skjal's corpse, and in case Triss kills Menge in Novigrad before you got to fully interrogate him, you will have the unique dialogue to tell her that perhaps she can use necromancy on him to extract information just as Yennefer did in Skellige.
Could you revive him?
Maybe. If I actually practiced black magic. Haven't sunken that low just yet.
Needless to say, she does not like the idea.
Yennefer did it. It was the only way we...
I'm not Yennefer, Geralt. I never will be. I'm sorry.
And speaking of killing Menge, there's an incredible detail related to that. It does not depend on Skellige or Velen, but I'll mention it anyway. If you do the Doppler contract afterwards, you will get the unique dialogue option to ask the Doppler to impersonate Menge for you. Sadly, he does not agree.
I'll spare you, but you gotta help me in return. I need you to assume someone's form, Caleb Menge's. I need you to sail to Temple Isle and...
What? I'll not do it. I'd never do it. You might as well kill me now. Save me the torture Menge would put me through.
Alright, we move on to Dandelion. Normally, if you do him after Velen, you won't really know what to do with the incantation of the curse, and he'll advise you to keep looking in Skellige.
She came here from Velen. Somebody there helped her, apparently. Maybe she went back.
Doubt it. Talk to the Baron there. He's the one helped Ciri. Said she rode off to Novigrad to look for Yen and me. And Yen's in Skellige, looking into traces she thinks Ciri left behind there.
So... Skellige?
Skellige.
In fact, if you haven't even done Velen at this point and start directly with Novigrad, Geralt and Dandelion are even more clueless.
She came here from Velen. Somebody there helped her, apparently. Maybe she went back.
Maybe. I'll need to check. Also gotta see if Yen's learned anything in Skellige.
You two have chatted enough.
But if you've done Skellige and Velen beforehand, which leaves Novigrad for the end, Geralt will immediately make the connection between the curse Dandelion is talking about and the creature from Skellige which he saw in the Baron's castle. He will even talk about returning to Velen to take Uma and possibly get help from Kaer Morhen, all of which actually ends up happening soon afterwards in the story.
Gladiv dorn ep tenaid, bundro isne iakas.
The curse invokes ugliness. My entire life, don't think I've seen anyone uglier than...
Stunning Gemma?
No. A certain deformed midget who appeared out of the blue on the shores of Hindersfjall. And now wanders around the Baron's castle.
You and Ciri, like two water droplets. Never know what either of you are talking about.
Ciri ever mention him?
Some deformed midget? No, didn't say much at all, to be honest. She came here from Velen. Somebody there helped her, apparently. Maybe she went back.
Maybe. Besides, the curse might have had something to do with Uma. I should collect him from the Baron.
Uma, the, deformed midget? What will you do with him?
First, lift the curse. Maybe I can get some help at Kaer Morhen. After that, who knows?
You two have chatted enough. Now it's my turn to talk to Dandelion.
So it's wonderful. However, we have a problem here. The only one I was able to find so far. Could it be an error only in the English version or simply a small inconsistency? But the fact is, if you do Yennefer first, skip the Baron, and then do Dandelion, Geralt will correctly not mention the Baron's castle and his plans to take Uma from there, but he will still say that he's never seen an uglier creature than the one who appeared on the shores of Skellige.
Gladiv dorn ep tenaid, bundro isne iakas.
The curse invokes ugliness. My entire life, don't think I've seen anyone uglier than...
Stunning Gemma?
No. A certain deformed midget who appeared out of the blue on the shores of Hindersfjall.
You and Ciri, like two water droplets. Never know what either of you are talking about.
This is inconsistent because Geralt hasn't yet seen Uma at that point. He has heard descriptions about him in Skellige, but he has never actually seen him. This is correctly reflected in the dialogue with Yennefer, like I showed you earlier, but it's slightly incorrect at this point. Alright, and finally we move on to Velen. Sadly, there is no extra dialogue about the Eternal Fire altar in the Baron's castle, if you've already done the quest in Novigrad.
An altar. So, the Eternal Fire's made it to Velen.
Nor is there anything more about Triss's doll, which the Baron made, if you've already done Triss.
This is Triss. No offense, but not great with your hands, are you?
Why don't you take some wooden rags, see what image of a grown woman you can come up with?
Also, there are no mentions of Triss dealing with rats when you run into the rats with Keira.
Get them off! Ah!
But when time comes to meet the Bloody Baron's daughter, Geralt will recall his unpleasant encounter with Menge in Novigrad when he learns that Tamara is involved with the witch hunters.
Heard of the Church of the Eternal Fire? A priest helped me contact the Redanian witch hunters. Righteous, brave men. They'll help me.
Wouldn't be so sure of that. Been to Novigrad, met the leader of the city's temple guard, man named Menge. One mean son of a bitch.
Doesn't mean they're all like that. Most are good, well-meaning people. I know they'll help.
This one is specifically triggered after the Count Reuven's treasure quest. If you only meet Menge in front of Triss's house, it won't be enough. Also, a bit of a segue if you don't mind. I guess I've already made one or two, but now that I mentioned Keira and Raiden, was that his name, the witch hunter? I've heard that both of them were initially supposed to be involved in the Catriona questline, which was never implemented. He was apparently supposed to be sick, hence the constant coughing. The Devil's Pit was supposed to be part of it. Ciri herself might have been involved, since she kind of caused that to begin with. But back on topic. In the end of the Velen storyline, after the Baron reveals everything, at least 3 different scenarios can play out. The most common is if you haven't done the other 2 zones, where Geralt doesn't really say anything special about Uma, but the other 2 are more curious. The first one is if you've done both Skellige and Novigrad prior to this point. In that case, the Baron can actually give you Uma himself.
Maybe you can tell. Is he man or beast? My men call him Uma, claim he's a monster. It seems to me he's a man, just hideous as Ardle's shit.
Definitely man, trapped by a powerful curse and linked somehow to Ciri.
What do you mean? How can that thing be tied to your city?
Long story, but I know he's the key to finding her. I need to take him to Kaer Morhen. Maybe the other witchers can help me lift the curse.
If it'll help you find your daughter, I'd be a pure bastard to refuse. Take him. He has a corner in the stables. I'll tell my men not to give you trouble. The Witcher here is gonna take Uma. No one's to get in his way.
Aye, sir.
Thanks, Baron. So long.
Farewell. I hope you find your daughter. And prove a good father to her.
And the second curious scenario is if you've only done Skellige but not Novigrad yet. In that case, Geralt will recognize the poor creature from his adventures in Skellige, but he will not take Uma yet, since he has no idea about the whole curse, about Ciri's involvement in it, or how to lift it. So Geralt and the Bloody Baron instead agree that Uma will be kept safe with the Baron until Geralt figures out what to do with him.
Don't know who or what Uma is, but I know he's linked to Ciri somehow.
What? Oh, come on, pull the other one. How on earth could that thing be tied to your daughter?
Don't know yet. Gotta find a way to talk to him.
I guess you've no reason to lie. Come back once you've found out how. Till then, he'll be safe here, because I don't imagine you know how to drag him around with you.
Fine. In that case, I'm off. So long, Baron.
Farewell. I hope you find your daughter. And prove a good father to her.
Sadly, in this scenario, you will ultimately be unable to get Uma from the Baron, since he leaves immediately afterwards to try and find his wife. So we are once again faced with the scenario where meeting Dandelion is the last thing you do before finding Uma. And with that, we've come full circle. Well, I'm probably still missing something, and I'm sure you guys will let me know, but I think that's all I had for now. It's been a wild ride playing through all these variations throughout the years, and I hope this video was worth your time. It certainly was worth mine, since I absolutely love this game, but I guess there's no point in saying that again. And yeah, if you liked it, consider giving it a like. If not, well, I still thank you for watching. Special thanks to my supporters and YouTube members, and until the next one, stay tuned and be good.